perfect time to like, hey, since this is new, here's a reminder of some things in Skyward Q. Um, so that is why we're doing this. And then I'm going to turn it over to Josh, who's going to explain how Google Live Stream works, which is different than like a normal video call that you may be used to.
Hey guys, yeah, this is a little different than like a normal video call. You'll notice there's like no chat there because you're just watching the stream. You're not really participating in a meeting. With that being said, though, you still can ask questions. I've turned on the Q&A. So on the right-hand side where the little triangle, square, and circle are, you click that and then click Q&A. You can drop questions in there. Connor can go over those. We can answer those for you during the stream. You can even thumbs up questions to kind of send them up to the top so we can look at the more popular ones if we're running short on time at the end. But the idea for this is we're just kind of presenting to you guys, and the interactions we have back is through that Q&A. So be sure to put questions in there if you have them. I'm kind of here in the background moderating those questions, kind of helping figure out what we're going to answer at the end. But the idea is for us just to kind of show you the way things work, give you some tips and tricks, and you just kind of sit there and learn what's going on while we're helping you guys out.
Yeah, and so the way Josh described it to me is like I'm in a glass bowl, so I can't even see who's on. I can see that there's at least 11 people on. I have no idea who those 11 people are. Hopefully they're within our district. I think Josh locked it so it's within our domain. But so 12, there we go. Someone else just signed on. So yeah, I won't know who's on this call, or if you need to be like, hey Connor, go back to one slide real quick or something. Like I don't know anything unless it goes in that Q&A. So I will not see it. I can't hear you, which is sometimes a good thing, only because there are sometimes you've all been on that Zoom call over the pandemic in the spring of 2020, and someone was on the and you're like, mute yourself, right? And so we can save ourselves the embarrassment of being that person who's not muted. So that's how Google Livestream works. So let's get into it. I'll back up and do the bit.ly one more time because I saw we had some more people join. So real quick, if you just signed on and you want that link to today's slides, is bit.ly/tech talks 828. So I'll leave that up for a few more seconds if you want to grab it. Of course, I can always email it out to you after as well. Okay, so all right, first question in the chat about Sarah filtering alerts so that she only sees certain alerts. Okay, so I promise Sarah, I will get to that. I've got a couple slides like that are general overview, and then we're going to tackle individual Q&A. So thank you for being the first one, Sarah, to ask a question. Okay. Quick disclaimer, because it's easy to get confused. Josh and I work in the academics department, not the IT department. And you're like, Connor, you're doing a thing called Tech Talks. That's very confusing. I know, but as we grew and as education changed, there needed to be people who were helping teachers use technology in the classroom for the instruction, who knew how to write lesson plans. And so Josh and I come from an academic background. We were both teachers. I think we both still have our teaching certificates, right? So yeah, we're both certified teachers. So I say we know the teaks more than we know the tech. And so we're here to help make your job easier. So, and then thank you, Cifuentes asked a question in the chat too. So awesome. So just FYI, like if people start asking us about like printers and copiers, I'm like, my badge doesn't work. I'm like, you got to put in a ticket. I can't do anything with that. If it's you can't see your class in Skyward, I can look into that because I'm doing this to make your job easier. So that's the difference. Okay, so Skyward Q. My 3 things I want to go over with you today is like, where can I go when I don't know how to do something? Some kind of tips and tricks and general navigation features. And then we'll tackle all those questions in the chat. So those are our 3 big items. Won't take long. But let's start with the first one is where can I go if I don't know how to do something in Skyward? So there's actually 3 different places you can go. Okay. So the first one is on Titan Game Plan on ClassLink. And I'm going to back out of here and go there now. So if you go to ClassLink, am I on the, did my tab switch? Hang on, let me stop sharing. Okay, let me go to present. We'll do the window. Okay, there we go. So I went to ClassLink, I went to Titan Game Plan, and then I went to Titan Game Plan, come over here, click on PD, and then click on How To, and you'll see right here, you've got videos on Skyward, Map, Eduphoria. If you click on Skyward, there are 4 teachers currently, 11 different videos all in Skyward. Okay, someone was asking me about like how do I score a bunch of assignments, like mass scoring assignments is on here. And these videos that don't have the T were directly from Skyward videos that I pulled for you guys. So, uh, so use this resource. Like if I don't know, like, how do I make a seating chart? Well, here's a whole video on how to make a seating chart in Skyward, right? So use that on Titan Game Plan. It's on ClassLink, ClassLink, Titan Game Plan, PD, how to, Skyward. So a few clicks, but then you're there and you have all that stuff. Okay. Second place you can go is the employee portal. Okay, so if you were to go to our website, which is just trinitybasin.com, and then right here is the employee portal in the top right. Okay, you would log in with your email. Okay, and if it's the first time, it might do a multi-factor authentication. But we're under academics because that's where Josh and I work, not IT. Skyward Q training. You'll find everything that's on that YouTube channel. So if you want to break it down by like, hey, how do I view parent guardian information? How do I submit referrals, recording grades, all that stuff, mass score assignments, it's still there. So you have two different places. So even if you're like, I don't have Titan Game Plan on my class link, you can still get to all the stuff right here. So we've posted it multiple places because we know it's that time of year and everyone's maybe struggling with this. So that is there for you. So that's one place you can go, Titan Game Plan. Second place, employee portal on the website. Third place you can go, and I don't think enough people know about this, and I think it's a really powerful tool, is the Skyward Help Center. Okay, so if you were to log into Skyward on ClassLink, okay, and I actually want to point out about something about logging in because I've seen this error a couple times. Okay, when you log in, you always want to hit this sign in with Microsoft Azure button. Every single time, hit the Azure button, okay? Don't try to type in your password because you're going to get error messages that, oh, you're locked out, that's the wrong password, whatever. All you have to do is sign in with Microsoft Azure, and you don't have to click, enter, type anything else. So always be hitting that button. Sometimes it's easy to miss because you have to scroll down to get to the sign in with Azure button. All right, so that's your sign in button. Right here in the top right of my screen, this little thing called Knowledge Hub and this little thing called Help Center. Okay. And what I want to point out about this is a funny story about Connor's childhood. When I was growing up and we would have, like a new piece of technology, like a DVD player, like, oh, this is going to be great. It's better than VHS, right? And we get this DVD player, and my dad will always be the one who's like, read the instructions, Connor. Like, and there came like a user manual with your DVD player, right? That physical user manual, and you like read the thing, and you had to connect the red, white, and yellow cords for the audio video, right? This is like Skyward's user manual, right? And it's searchable. And it based on wherever you were, the Knowledge Hub will take you to that chapter. So if you were in the gradebook and you click Knowledge Hub Help Center, it would take you to the gradebook section. But you can, on the filters, close out this publication and you can search something like grades. And you can see all these things about grading. And if you know that actual thing that you're like, well, what about if I transfer grades for a student who was in one section and went to another, like transferring grades in teacher access right there. So use this resource as well. And if you find something that's not on Titan Game Plan or not on the employee portal in here, that's when you shoot me an email and be like, hey, Connor, I found this cool trick. Can we add this so other teachers know about this? Absolutely, we can do that. Okay. So that is a great resource. So you have 1, 2, 3 different places you can go to how do I do XYZ on Skyward. So use those resources. Absolutely. Next thing I want to talk about is the different areas of Skyward. So you've got employee access, teacher access, family access. Okay, those pretty much are all what they sound like. Employee access is what every single person who's on this call gets because you all get your request days off. So you have this option in Skyward that's employee access. I'll show you what that looks like over here. Under this home button, there's this little drop down arrow. And so you will click employee access, and that's how you could do time off and all that stuff. I don't really have anything to do with employee access other than make sure you have it. So if you're like, hey, Connor, I know you're the Skyward guy. It says I can't request time off. I don't touch that. HR has to touch that. So I would tell you either reach out to HR or put in a ticket. Doesn't matter who gets the ticket because it can always get reassigned to the person who is responsible for that. So even if you put in a ticket and it starts off in IT can say, nope, that's HR because that's employee access. But I just wanted to point out that's what employee access in Skyward does. Teacher access, that's where you guys have been doing all your attendance, grades, all that stuff. So that's where you guys will live. Family access is what our parents will see. If you are a teacher who's a parent, you will have a little family access button to see where your son or daughter is. Student access, that's what the students will see. So you won't have that button, but the students will. And that's the only button they'll have is the student access button. I have confirmed at least one campus that students can go in through ClassLink and see stuff on student access. So they can view their grades, they can view their schedule. If you're getting an issue like, Connor, I'm in a classroom of 20 kids and not a single one of them can see anything on Skyward, again, shoot me an email. I'll be happy to take a look at that. And then administrative access, you won't have access to as teachers because you don't need that. You're not a principal, you're not a counselor, right? You're not the front office person who's scheduling 20 kids into a PE class at a time. Like, so you don't need to worry about that. I just want to point out that that's who each one of these has a different target audience, and it's fairly intuitive by the naming convention. So those are the different parts of Skyward. And then the last thing I'll say about general navigation is and this is one of the things I wish every teacher in the district knew about this, is there's this little blue circle with a whole lot of information. And so if you were to go to in teacher access, and I'll do my own daughter as an example, and you were to go to student and then student list. Okay, so it's student and then student list. You all have that in teacher access. And then you were to search a kid. So then where is she? Why can't I find her, Josh? What am I doing? Oh, because I'm not searching last name. Duh. That's another thing about Skyward is you have to click the column you want to search and see how it says now search last name. That's why. So we're gonna do this little blue dot right here. You click on that and it gives you all the information like student ID, username, discipline. You could view their schedule. You can also view usage history. So you could see like, has the parent actually checked Skyward, right? Or has a student, if they're an older student, have they checked Skyward? So you can see like, mom says, oh, I check Skyward every day. And you're like, well, actually you don't because the last time you logged in was 3 weeks ago, you know? So use that blue circle there. That is really handy. So those are my kind of general navigation tips and tricks. Now let's take a look at some of those questions. Okay, Forrester's asking about alerts, but I think she actually means indicators for like, how do I filter out just the dyslexic kids? And so assuming that's correct, in Skyward, or sorry, on Titan Game Plan, there's a video called how to insert a column. All right. And on the insert a column, so again, we're on that. I'll go to Jefferson. And then student list. This little gear, there's a little gear above the column. You hit that one and then hit insert column. And then I searched and found one that says has dyslexia indicator. So that's the column that you want. And then once you have that column, you can then filter by true, hit save, and then that will give you all your dyslexia kids who've got that box checked. So that I'm going to mark that question as answered, or Josh already did. Okay. So Fuentes is asking about dropped students in the gradebook. That one I would need to, if you could email me a specific, screenshot of that kid, because it may be kid specific depending on how that kid was scheduled into that class. So I can definitely take a look on that after. And then Fuentes had another question about in gradebook, can we fix it where it shows all of our middle school students in one square, regardless of what label they are? Yes, most likely. Yes, I'd have to look at how it's again set up for those meets, or if it's two separate courses or not. But we can definitely play around with that. There are options to do that for sure. So and then okay, so Forrester asked again about the has dyslexia indicator, it's because you have to add that column. It's not going to come default. It's not going to come out of the box. So again, hit that little gear and then hit insert column, and then you have to search. I searched the word dyslexia after I hit insert column, and then I clicked that has dyslexia indicator and saved it, and then there you go. And the dropped kid list, maybe. It also, I'll tell you this, guys, another, like, one of the biggest things I'm seeing is that, yes, Fuentes, I can come see you when I'm on campus next, which will probably be Monday. Um, the dropped kid list, though, what I'm seeing a lot of is front office prints rosters on Monday for the whole week. But now it's Wednesday, and what you printed on Monday is inaccurate. So like today, I had a teacher who's like, "These 5 kids aren't on my roster, on the paper roster," and I'm like, "But they're in Skyward. Like if you go in and check, they're in there, and they didn't get added until Tuesday. So what you printed on Monday was accurate on Monday. So if you're seeing dropped kids on paper, that could be why. It depends on when they were printed. The other issue you see is that when you print the rosters, you have to specify like the enrolled for current date in that class for current date. Because if you print it like enrolled on 813, well, if that kid wasn't enrolled in that class on 813, they're not going to be on that paper roster. So, um, so I think those are all the questions I see. So I'll leave it open for a few more minutes. Oh, one other thing I did want to mention um, is we're going to do this again based on the feedback we get, unless they're like, no, it was terrible, we're never coming again, maybe. But if you if we like doing this, if this is helpful, we kind of figured we'd do Skyward first, and then the next one would be Google Classroom. And we kind of thought we'd split it based on like people who are new to Google Classroom and people who've like, I've used it before, I can make my own assignment in Google Classroom, but I want to do a little more advanced stuff with it. So we'll do 2 sessions, one on September 11th, maybe will be a real patriotic Google Classroom on that day, and then and then the next one for like the more advanced users would be on September 25th. We're going to try to keep them on Wednesdays because we know sometimes Tuesdays or Thursdays are busy, and you know Wednesdays kind of right in the middle of the week. So mark your calendars for those. Um, and also give us feedback if you're like, hey, I would love for you guys to do a tech talk on blank, whatever the topic is, just let us know and we'd be happy to. And it's also like we can also come out to your school and do trainings as well. But at least this way we can, like I said, hit a bunch of teachers at once and say, hey, use this little blue dot in Skyward. It'll save you a whole bunch of headaches. So I am gonna, I guess I'll leave like for another minute or two, but I'm not seeing any new questions come in, so we'll kind of end the stream there. Um, so thank you guys for coming. Again, that was short and sweet, but I want to be respectful of everyone's time. So thank you very much for coming, and I appreciate all the hard work you're doing. Hopefully, this made your life a little bit easier.